Okay, so this is going to be part 3 of making an Old West gun belt. The next step I'm going to do is cutting out the strip for my bullet loops. I'm going to be using a thinner vegetable tan split. I got this from Springfield Leather Company. It was 50 square feet for 20 bucks, I think it was at the time. It might be a little more now. That was a couple years ago. And for bullet loops, I'm doing 22 long rifle here, so I like about ½ inch, and that's what I got a whole oblong slot punch for. So we're going to do it at ½ inch. Probably actually should tighten my strap cutter just a little bit since I cut thicker stuff last time. Get this adjusted. Okay. See if it'll start. Thinner stuff like this, when you're using these strap cutters, sometimes you gotta make yourself a little tail that you can actually get through there. Get a hold of it on the other side. Now, that's what I needed. Otherwise, you'd have to measure it and use a straight edge in your utility knife or whatever. Once you get it started, if you got a fairly sharp blade though, this is much quicker. But I didn't have one of these for the first couple of years that I was doing this stuff, so you can definitely get by without them. But if you're going to do more than make just one gun belt, I strongly recommend getting some kind. I don't know that it matters which brand. This one I'm using is a Craft Tool is the brand name. Like most of my stuff. Bought it off of Amazon. I don't even remember what it cost. Probably 20 bucks, 25. Might not have even been that much, I'm not sure. So this is 5-6 foot long. That's way more than we're going to need, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So that's all cut out. Okay, the next thing we need to do, probably punch holes in the next video, because I haven't made one of these in a while, and it's a step I kind of forgot till after I had made the last section of this video. But next, these are for doing edge work. They're edge bevelers, cheap ones off of Amazon. One thing that I kind of wish I'd have spent more money on, but too late. I got these and they work. So these just take basically round the edge off, kind of like a router would with wood. Doing rough out stuff is a little bit harder than top grain stuff that hasn't been split, but this will really help make it look a little bit neater, a little more professional. Again, something you don't have to do. It's not going to affect the function of the belt, but I've got the tools, so I'm going to use them and make it look a little better. Edge both sides. That strip I just cut for bullet loops, that thing's too thin. I'm not going to worry about beveling the edges. I don't want to just destroy the thing trying to edge it a little bit. I'll still burnish the edges, I'm just not going to bevel them. And do all 3 pieces, both sides. If you're looking for a hobby that doesn't take up a lot of your time, leatherworking is probably not the right one. But I enjoy all the different aspects and using the different tools and stuff, so that's what I'm doing. There's a lot of videos on the internet, people that are a lot better at this sort of thing than I am, because they do it more. When I'm doing leather working as a side thing for the stuff I sell, usually it's just like women's purses or card wallets or something. It's not gun belts. I have sold 2 gun belts, I guess. One of the first ones I ever made, I sold at a rummage sale, and then I had a guy ask me to make him one. Actually real similar to the one I'm making right now, except it wasn't out of splits, it was out of the top grain leather. That one was a economy side. I think I got that one off of Weaver. Not the greatest quality leather I've ever seen, but it works just fine for crafting projects. That was like $100 for the side. One thing about Weaver leather that I like, used to be $100, but now it's $150. Spend $150, you get free shipping. Well, that can make a big difference when you're buying this kind of stuff. I mean, if you get your leather from them instead of buying these splits, if you want the top grain stuff like that, you get your leather and then buy a few tools. It's not too hard to get up to $150 and get some really nice quality stuff. The shipping on leather is, I'll take this $30 piece of leather. You're going to pay half of that to again, so it's going to cost you $45 to get it to your house. Pay $15 in shipping. I think I paid $20 something in shipping for this, but I got a side of chrome tan, which is a different tannage. The vegetable tan, they use like organic matter, like sometimes they use bark from oak trees and stuff. This is the way they would have done it back in the olden days, where chrome tan is a softer, more oily looking leather. Usually it's pre-dyed, and it's for like what purses are made out of, or furniture, or like jackets, that sort of thing. So I use that a lot to make purses to sell my wife's store that she's got on Instagram. So I don't have an actual leather website or whatever for leather working stuff that I've made. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to edge these. And I may do some of that off camera, but I'll get you started showing you how to do it. It's just a piece of an old t-shirt. This is just a bottle with a bunch of dirty water because I use it on multiple projects over time. Just going to kind of get that wet. That's a little wetter than I want it, so I'm going to get another rag and kind of wring that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to get the edge of this wet. You don't need to soak it, but you want it wet enough that you can tell it's wet. Now I got saddle soap here. This comes in a container. Looks like that. Just going to take that, rub a little of that on the edge. You don't have to use the saddle soap, you could just use the water, but I find that I like using both. I think it makes a better looking edge. And you just want that wet enough that you can see it. You can buy bars of saddle soap, glycerin saddle soap. I've never done that. This stuff works pretty good. A bar would probably be easier to use, but I can buy this stuff at actually the place where I work, in the tax section, and it works pretty good. I like that I can seal the container too. This is just a piece of canvas. I got some more of it here. This is off of a Army like a duffel bag from the Army surplus. So if you got an Army surplus near you, you can look for canvas there. Otherwise, you can get canvas on the internet. Or you can, if you got an old pair of jeans, you can use denim. Canvas works a little better, but denim will work. And you don't need a lot of pressure. Just kind of lightly rub it. It's the friction and the water and the friction on the water and the saddle soap that's slicking up this edge and making it so it doesn't fray and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that to all of my pieces, which is why I probably will do a lot of that off camera. And then I think we'll be ready to, in the next video we'll probably be attaching the billet that I'm holding here and the buckle, making sure that I got everything the right length. I'll attach the billet first and then make sure I got the buckle right. If I need to, I can trim the belt itself down at that point. So, and then after that we'll probably be marking for putting in our bullet loops, and depending on the length, how long it takes me to make that video, probably the next one will be actually attaching the bullet loops, and probably a final one for like the final product, finishing everything up, and then I'll have to decide if I'm going to dye it or not. So at this point I'm guessing there's going to be 5 or 6 parts to this video, probably not more than 7, but I've never done a video like this before, so it may be more or it may be less. We'll find out. So I'll do a little bit more of this on camera just so you have an idea, and then I'll finish it off camera and catch you guys at the next step of the process. Need a lot. Be better if I could get it just on the edge too, which that bar of glycerin saddle soap would be a little easier, but this is a rough out gun belt. I want it to look kind of rustic, so if I'm a little over on some of it and it stains it a little or makes it a little darker, that's okay. I don't want it to look like a real fancy thing. I just want it to be functional and kind of rustic looking. Sorry I had that coughing noise there for a little bit. But like I said, not a lot of pressure. Just enough to slick up that edge. I'll show you when I get this side done. Comparison of the side that's not done to the side that is done. Another thing you can do if you don't have this canvas or don't want to spend the money or whatever, and you want to, if you'd like to buy one of the kits for leatherworking, I've had 3 cheap kits off Amazon. One of them was complete garbage. I don't remember which one. The first one I got had pretty good stuff, but they'll come with these, and they got different, I don't know, you call them grooves or whatever. Find the one that fits, and you can burnish it with that. I prefer the canvas. For most things it makes it a little easier, but you can slick that up pretty good just with this too. Sometimes I've seen people that'll something like this along a table just hanging over just barely, which actually does work better. But I don't have set up to get a good camera angle on that, so we'll just go like this. But so that's 2 methods. I don't know that one actually works better than the other one. Actually, with this thick of leather, using one of these isn't half bad, but for the thinner stuff I definitely prefer the canvas. I'm probably doing this a little more than you need to, but I want to make sure that my fibers are all... What this does basically is stick the loose fibers together. Makes everything bond. That friction, I don't know if they'd call it static electricity or what, but I don't know why it does it, I just know it does it. But it's going to be hard for you to tell on there. But that is just slippery smooth. This side's still pretty rough. You can see the fibers are kind of going every which a ways, where on this side they're all pretty much all flattened down and stuck to each other. You're going to get it's going to look better in a long period of time. It's going to look better if you do this step, but there again, it's not necessary for the overall like strength of the gun belt. So alright, I think that was mostly what I wanted to mention in this video anyway, and it's, you see it's already getting to 16 minutes long, so I think I'm going to end it off here, and the next one will be punching holes in the different pieces and attaching the belt buckle and the billet, and after that it'll probably be marking for bullet loops, and if it doesn't get too long, actually putting the bullet loops in. So thanks for watching.